the Daily Caller ran a story about Robert Menendez, who's the Democratic senator from New Jersey, saying, oh my God, he's caught in the Dominican Republic with prostitutes. And my God, they came up with 18 different ways to slander him on this. First of all, Menendez is single, so, and by the way, prostitution is legal in the Dominican Republic. Now, it's all a lie, so you don't have to worry about it on moral or ethical grounds. Me personally, I'd say, so what? Have at it, Hoss. If it's legal over there, it's none of our business. But I know how American politics is. Oh my God, somebody had sex! Set the place on fire, right? And that's what Tucker Carlson, who runs Daily Caller, knows, and that's why he tried to smear Menendez in this way. Unfortunate for him that prosecutors in the Dominican Republic have figured out, and law enforcement officials have, that they were lying, and in fact, that apparently the Daily Caller had sent in people to offer $5,000 to any prostitute who would lie and say Menendez had sex with them. Let me quote the Washington Post. A top Dominican law enforcement official said Friday, the local lawyer has reported to being paid by someone claiming to work for the conservative website The Daily Caller to find prostitutes who would lie and say they had sex for money with Senator Robert Menendez. How clear is that? Now, when asked about this, the Daily Caller had a great little non-denial denial. In all of these denials, you have to be really careful about the wording. Now, let me read it to you and then explain to you why, in fact, I think this indicates that they did do it. Quote, at no point did any money change hands between the Daily Caller and any sources or individuals connected with this investigation, nor did anyone named Carlos travel to the Dominican Republic on the behalf of the Daily Caller. Now, Carlos was apparently the fake name that the guy was using to try to bribe people into testifying on tape, at least being a witness on tape against Menendez. Now, did you understand what happened there? They said no money exchanged hands. They didn't say we didn't offer the money. They didn't say we didn't do this scam. They didn't say we didn't try to do this. They just said, hey, no money exchanged hands. And they didn't say they didn't send somebody down there. They just said, we never sent a guy named Carlos. But Carlos is his fake name. We already know that. You see, in their denial, you can see what's actually happening. Okay? Now, look, this story is very hard to tell in terms of who's right and who's wrong if you don't have, the top law enforcement officials looking into it. In the beginning, the prostitutes do say on tape, oh, yeah, we were supposed to get paid $500, and then he only paid us $100. And in the lawyer representing them, the one that is flipped now, was saying, oh, yeah, no, it's rock solid, and the prostitutes definitely got paid by Menendez, no question. He changes his story when the law enforcement officials start to break his story down. They say, okay, now explain to us what happened, et cetera, et cetera. And it turns out that's not the case at all. First, the prostitutes switched and said, honestly, we were paid one of them was paid $291, another one $413 to lie about having sex with Menendez for money. Both of the women later said they never met Menendez or his donor, who is named Melgen. Said never met him. Part of what happened here was Melgen's relative, his cousin, is a prominent lawyer in the Dominican Republic, and he sued basically for libel and said, hey, we need to see where these anonymous sources are coming from for the Daily Caller. All this unravels, and they find out, of course, it was all nonsense, and these guys had made up these lies so they could all get paid. Now, here's what you have to understand. This would be no problem if everybody recognized the Daily Caller for what it is. Just a junk propaganda organization that has nothing to do with news whatsoever. Its whole point is to mislead people in the news category, to get them to report news that isn't really news. It's made up, right? So the problem is the rest of the media sometimes takes them seriously. Oh, what did Tucker Carlson say at the Daily Caller? Who cares what he said? He's a propagandist. And he's done this time and time again. The same with the Breitbarts and the edited tapes, and same with Crowder at Fox News with the edited tapes. How many times do we have to go through this? But listen, the guy who was one of the original founding donors of Daily Caller is Foster Friess. He was a huge supporter of Rick Santorum too. Now, I interviewed him on the Young Turks on Current, and he was a perfectly swell guy, and after the interview, he keeps sending me cards. It's very lovely during the Christmas period. So obviously he loves his wife. He's got his wife in all the cards, and and every time I get it, they seem like a sweet couple. And my sense from having talked to him You know, and look at that, that's funny, right? Smoking hot wife. Bless his heart for loving his wife that much. They've been together a long time, right? So my sense is that he's a decent guy who just happens to disagree with us, and for many different reasons, right? But if you're a decent person, you don't fund operations like this that pays money to smear senators with false charges. So Foster Friess should look into what's going on under his name at the Daily Caller. And if he really is that lovely guy on the cards, he should pull his money right away, because all this is doing is causing tremendous embarrassment. Now, if he's not a decent guy, and he knows he's doing this on purpose, and he's telling them, go ahead and spend my money to smear people and to try to bribe people, well, that's a different story. But only Foster Friess can answer that question. So we'll see what he does, and we'll see how long this Daily Caller goes, and how long the media take them seriously, because this is not a reputable organization in the least bit. And if this is what the Republicans and the conservatives are proud of, that's really, really sad.